Good afternoon, everyone! Yay, TGIF, it's Friday. So it's our last daily talk for the week. Wow, time flies. We're on to the next week of October next week. So today I thought I'm going to share with our Money Matters topic, free stuff. Welcome to the free economy, as I call it. Flourish and Flow, Money Matters. I'm 𝗲𝗏𝘂𝗃𝗃𝗃, your host, and thanks once again for joining me. So get ready with your pen and paper. Take note of the stuff that I'm going to share to you legit, totally legit, for free. And I'm only sharing things that I've personally benefited from, enjoyed, as well as shared. So there has to be that cycle of giving and receiving. Okay, are you ready? So I'm going to focus on 4 areas. Education, free education. Aside from scholarships, because that's different, scholarships are quite competitive. There are a number of free courses online. And I'm not talking about marketing-driven type webinars where they're going to sell something to you at the end. Guilty of that too. I'm talking about university level, high quality courses. And some of them are actually even delivered by well-known or top universities in the world. So are you ready? One of them is Coursera. I've personally taken courses from, one of them was actually from Robert, I don't know if you call him Schiller, I don't know if you pronounce it right, but Dr. Schiller is a well-known economist, and he's a Yale professor, so I've actually taken one of his courses. And also Martin Seligman, he's a well-known, well-renowned professor as the father of positive psychology. I've also taken his course on Coursera, and all for free. You can pay a minimal amount if you want the certificate. I think it's just $75 or something like that. And then you have edX, EDX, and I have not used it, but I believe that top universities like Harvard, MIT put their courses for open learning or free learning on that site. Another one I discovered this morning is openlearning.com, and I actually almost finished a short course about adult learning this morning. So it's really, these courses are really high quality programs. As I said, they're not the kinds of webinars that's touted for free with an expectation of you signing up for bigger programs at the end. These are legit, academic, high quality programs and courses. But also, they don't have to be really serious. Some of the courses are not necessarily university level certificates. They can just be short courses, but they are definitely useful for your professional development. And now we'll move on to, another mention, free education. If you want to look at others available out there, Google search for OpenCourseWare or Google search for MOOCs, and you'll have a list of them. I've just mentioned the top ones that I'm familiar of and familiar about, and I've personally used Coursera and openlearning.com. The other one, ready for the next category of free stuff? Travel. Free travel. Now this might be a bit tricky and it's not as easy to get. I personally have traveled free, flights paid for, and accommodation paid for to Philippines from Australia. I've traveled to Rio de Janeiro, traveled to Toronto, traveled to Bali, all paid for through volunteer work. Now, it's very, very different from volunteerism. Because volunteerism are being actually sold to you. So there are those organizations in the guise of volunteering. They sell to you a travel itinerary or a travel program where you go to another place and volunteer, and somehow that makes people feel good that they're going to a different country or going somewhere else and travel for a cause. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real international development type work where you use your professional skills and you work with international development agencies to then help local communities and impart their skills. So there are a lot of international development agencies that deploy volunteers. In Australia, AusAid does that for AVID, or Australian Volunteers for International Development, and that's the one that I did. And they have a lot of deployments across Asia Pacific and sometimes in Africa as well. But the other countries where I was able to travel to was because of my volunteer role as board director in one of the nonprofit educational institutes or professional associations that I'm with. I don't have to mention it, but yes, having served as director, we are encouraged to go to a regional conference and international conference as well, and that's all paid for. But when it comes to accommodation, I'll share with you a couple of things that you can take advantage for free. But really, I recommend you take this suggestion, not because you simply want free stuff, but because you genuinely want to share something. So when it comes to the free economy, I should call it barter or sharing economy, but the sharing economy, that sounds like Uber, right? That sounds like Airbnb, but it's really free economy. So get ready. Couch surfing, and I've mentioned that before. And I know people kind of like scratch their head. Really, people offer you free accommodation. Why don't they just do Airbnb? Well, people simply want to host out of a sense of hospitality, but also they want to host travelers to learn from other cultures. I myself, we've hosted in, well, as the US, we've hosted a few travelers in our place apartment in Ohio. And I've been hosted so many times by couch surfers in different countries. In Mexico, probably couch surfed with 5 different hosts. I've couch surfed in Buenos Aires as well, and I've couch surfed in New Orleans, and that was phenomenal. I had a phenomenal experience with the, what do you call it, the Mardi Gras, because my host brought me to the Mardi Gras. And then I remember my other host in New Orleans picked me up together with another traveler from France with a limo. Can you imagine that? Being picked up with a limousine. And then we were brought to the French Quarter. That's the main attraction in downtown New Orleans. And our host brought us there, and we went club hopping, bar hopping. Of course, he knew where all the good places are for music and all that, and he brought us to different places. That's the cool thing about couch surfing. You don't think of it as simply having a free accommodation. It's really about intercultural exchange. It's really about immersing yourself in the local culture, and it's the best way to travel when you get to know the locals and then they really share to you, the things that you probably won't have known even existed unless a local showed to you. So that's couch surfing. The other one, I haven't tried it, but I'm a member of that FB group, is Host a Sister. So there's a Facebook group, and you can check it out, called Host a Sister, where people all over the world offer to host women travelers. Of course, now because of COVID and the pandemic, I'm not quite sure what the updates are with couch surfing. I haven't checked, so take this with a pinch of salt, with a grain of salt. Check it for yourself what the latest updates are because of COVID. and what's happening on that front. But once everything's back to normal, if we'll ever get back to normal, check those two out, couch surfing and host sister. What else? Well, the other category is fitness. Before I got into NIA, how I did my fitness for free, and I hated going to the gym, by the way, was two things on YouTube. One is tuning into the lazy dancer tips, and the other one was dancing to the fitness Marshall. So there's a lot of fitness videos available online, from yoga to dance, I think even parkour. So I don't know, you don't even have to go to the gym anymore. Well, right now with COVID, you don't have to. But of course, being a teacher myself, it helps if you actually, even every now and then, go sign up and pay teachers, because it takes a lot of effort to prepare a class. Plug. That's my own plug. Well, join my class Sundays on Zoom. I don't have it this weekend, but next weekend. So just a plug. Check out my page and FB page, Dance with Rona. Dance with Rona. So, but I used to do free Fridays EST, Friday USA time zone. It's Saturday Australian time zone. I used to do free classes. Just check out my FB page. So I talked about free education. I talked about free travel. I talked about free fitness. And last thing, there are heaps of free services. From financial planning to legal services, especially if you are disadvantaged or you find yourself in not so good financial situation. But one of the things that I did not take advantage of it, instead in the other way around, which meant that I was the provider of the free services. So for those of you who work in the nonprofit and would like to take advantage of diverse kinds of support, from administrative support, strategic support, consulting, even digital marketing, there's a site called 𝗙𝗏𝘂𝗃𝗃.org. Is it 𝗙𝗏𝘂𝗃𝗃.com? Yeah, you better check it. I think it's 𝗙𝗏𝘂𝗃𝗃.org. And I actually am a member of it, not as someone who takes advantage of the free services, but actually as someone who is a free service provider. So far I've had around about $34,000 to $36,000 worth of services that I've provided to nonprofits. But that's them valuing how much that was. So it's not me valuing it, it's them putting a price tag on it. And it's mostly consulting services. So check it out especially if you're in the USA, because that's more of a US-based platform. Check that platform out. But I'm sure if you search enough, there are probably the equivalent platforms in other countries as well. So there you go. There's a lot of free stuff out there, especially now with the pandemic. I know there's a mushrooming of free services, free support that's being provided. But the one thing that we should always remember is that this is what I call a FREEconomy, which means we should also be willing to give and not just take. So for example, with Coursera, with couch surfing, even though I've taken advantage of couch surfing in different countries and being hosted, I've also personally hosted myself. Me and Chad have hosted travelers when we were in Ohio. And I've given away a lot of free services as well when it comes to consulting. And plus this daily talk, it's free. And plus my Dance with Rona, I've done FB Live dance wellness parties for free once a week. So I kind of stopped that for a while, but I'll probably get back to it, who knows. So this is what I call the FREEconomy. I'm the first one that you've probably heard this from, because I've never heard anyone mention that. I coined that. Feel free to use it, FREEconomy. So there you go. Not everything that is good, that is high quality, costs money. Some of the high quality, high value stuff out there are actually free and available and accessible to many of us. Take advantage of it. Enrich your life with it. And sometimes the free stuff can even be better with a lot of surprises that it brings than the ones that actually cost us money. Who knows, right? So go out there, explore. I hope you took notes of all those free sites and free stuff that I shared with you today. Enjoy. Again, positive juju, positive energy to all of you. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week. Flourish and flow.